Welcome to another Pawsome University Small Bite episode. On this episode, we're giving our top fall safety tips for dogs. September is here, and at the time of this Small Bite release, Labor Day weekend has commenced its 3-day declaration of the end of summer. The true start to autumn this year is September 22nd, but if you're anything like me, Labor Day marks the turning of the season. This year may look a little different than last with the ongoing pandemic, but the world will still turn, the seasons will still change, and Mother Nature is still doing her thing. A changing season brings a new set of hazards and new considerations you should take before breaking out the flannels and pumpkin spice. I've compiled a list of the most important things to look out for as you kick off your spooky season. Even if you're holding strong onto your last days of summer, I think we can all agree that back-to-school mode is in full swing. Whether it's remote learning or back in the classroom, your house may be filled with delicious treats like pencils, Sharpies, highlighters, glue sticks. Do your best to keep these out of reach of your dog, who may take the whole eating homework thing too literal. And the outside of your home may be changing too. Wild mushrooms bloom year-round, but due to a tamer climate, are much more plentiful in the fall. Wild mushrooms can be poisonous to dogs, and medical intervention should be sought immediately if your dog ingests them. It's good practice to have the ASPCA poison control number saved. Their number is 888-426-4435, and depending on the program funding at the time, you may be charged a fee for this service. Alternatively, you could just call your vet and they can give you guidance if you do believe your dog ingested a wild mushroom. If you know for certain that your yard is a hot spot for wild mushrooms, give your yard a good look over. Make sure that there's no freshly bloomed mushrooms that your dog could get into. My favorite thing about fall are the changing leaves. But be cautious, suddenly bare branches can create eye injury hazards for high energy dogs, and all those fallen leaves create a breeding ground for ticks, so be sure to continue flea and tick preventatives year round. Leaf piles may also be home to critters like mice or snakes. With cooler nights approaching, rodents and snakes will begin searching for shelter to brace for the winter. Be aware of your local snake species and familiarize yourself with the venomous ones. And of course, critters looking for homes means more instances of rodents entering your home, and so rodenticide sales spike in the fall. The bait set for these rodents may look enticing for your dog, but it can be equally toxic. Keep your dog away from bait stations, and of course, if you believe your dog was exposed to rodenticide, seek veterinary care as soon as possible. Leaves aren't the only things trees shed this time of year. Many drop nuts and seeds like acorns or fruit, all of which can cause significant GI upset if your dog ingests them, especially rotten fruit. So that covers just about everything Mother Nature might throw at you this season, but if you're into DIY car maintenance, there may be another hazard. Depending on where you live, it may be common practice to change your antifreeze, also known as coolant, in your car in the fall. Antifreeze, especially ethylene glycol-based antifreeze, has a sweet odor and is highly toxic to pets. Keep your spent coolant in sealed containers and dispose of it properly. Never leave it out in a catch basin, which may resemble a water bowl and further entice your pet. And be sure to occasionally check under your vehicle in the driveway to make sure that it's not leaking any fluids. So enough negative things. Let's talk about special considerations for the time of the year. Now is a great time to inspect your pet's tags. Are they worn out or illegible? Is the information still accurate? What about their microchip information? Call the database and verify their information. And now is the perfect time to touch base with your pet sitters. We own a pet care business, so I can tell you firsthand, holidays book fast. As soon as you know your arrangements, get in touch with your pet sitter and book your visits. And while I intend to do a whole separate small bite on Halloween and Halloween safety for your pets, I do want to touch on no tricks for treats. The high amounts of sugar and candy could cause severe GI upset in most dogs, and while milk chocolate isn't always the biggest culprit, the high amounts of cocoa found in dark chocolate is highly toxic to dogs. So as tempting as it might be to share your trick-or-treat haul, you may be causing more harm than good. The most important tip I have today is to have fun. Make some memories with your pet. It's the perfect season to go for a hike, take an enriching walk, get out and enjoy the fresh air. You might just be surprised what traditions you start. Happy fall, everybody. Class dismissed.